Today I fucked up by naming my son Bruno. I have a 6-year-old son named Bruno. He is absolutely just the life of the party and just always super energetic. Lately, he has been coming home really sad, and I try asking him what's wrong but he never tells me. I have also tried asking his teacher if anything is going on with some kids, but his teacher said she hadn't noticed anything. Anyway, recently the movie Encanto came out. I have not gotten the chance to watch the movie but I have heard the songs, which are super catchy. I get in the singing mood and start singing the song, We Don't Talk About Bruno. In the middle of me singing the song, however, my son gets super upset and storms off crying. I was super confused and followed him to ask him what was wrong. And he said that first his friend say not to talk about him and now me. That's when I realized what was going on. He told me everyone was making fun of him saying he had rats and no one ever wanted to say his name. I explained to him that I still loved him and was singing a song from the movie. Just yesterday I talked to the teacher about it and she promised she would get the situation handled. He seems to be doing awesome now and we just watched the movie together. He loves Bruno and the song Haha. Too long did not read. I was singing the song, We Don't Talk About Bruno and my son, named Bruno, thought I hated him. There are a lot of girls named Stacy. That had a tragic junior high experience. My best friend is named Karen. She's the most Karen person I know. I know a woman named Alexa, and she's not listening to you, she's hearing impaired. I feel sorry for anyone whose name becomes co-opted by pop culture, but remember kids will find anything to tease kids about. My mother was teased for her last name as a kid, I was teased for my first name. If he will sit and watch Encanto with you again, try to help him see that Bruno has a power that scares people but is able to take care of himself and his pets. The only problem I see is that you didn't have Bruno's power to see the future. My best friend's sister's name is Katrina. She used to work as a waitress. When Hurricane Katrina hit, she said people used to ask her if she was named after the hurricane. She was in her mid-20s at the time, haha. Just wait until he finds the movie with his name on the cover. Oh, boy. Do not let your kid watch Luca, also from Disney Tears of Joy if you haven't watched. The main character's friend tells him to say, Silencio Bruno. Meaning silence Bruno, every time he starts doubting himself. IDK what Disney have against the name Bruno Tears of Joy. I thought this was going to be about Luca and Silencio Bruno. My name is Jolene so. I understand. My name is Janie and I never stop hearing how much I have a gun. GIF. Emote, free_emotes_ pack, sob. Today I fucked up by calling my employer at 3 a.m. Every single night, I have to call my dad to remind him that he needs to eat his medicines. But last night I totally forgot about it. I slept early because I was tired. I woke up at around 3 something and the first thought that ran through my head was, oh shit, I forgot to remind Dad. And I immediately opened my contacts. Coincidentally, my employer's name starts with D too. His contact name was above my dad's name. I called him by mistake and after a few rings, he picked my call. Without even letting him speak I shouted, "Did you eat your medicines?" I am significant other sorry I forgot. I was significant other tired because of work. I have to work even on weekends, I hate this pathetic job. I heard a long silence. Instinctively, I removed my phone from my ears to see whether the call is still going on or not. But I saw his name. My employer's name. I didn't know what to do or what to say so I cut the call, turned off my phone and yeah that's it. I've been up since by the way. Too long did not read. I called my employer by mistake at night, thinking he's my dad, and complained about my job. Edit. There's no update yet. Most likely, I'll try sending him a text tomorrow. About my dad, thankfully he didn't forget to take his medicines. Thank you so much for the advice, guys. I was honestly thinking about quitting after this but you guys made me realize this isn't the end of the world. I'll let you guys know what happened. Update. I dropped him a text. Not an apology, but I asked if he's available for a call. He said yes. I called him and I calmly explained the whole situation. He listened without saying a word. Then, he asked me what stresses me about the job. He sounded serious and concerned. I told him that I feel overwhelmed and even though the pay is nice, the work gets too much sometimes. Just like you guys, he complimented me for reminding my dad about his medicines. He also said that he wished he had such a connection with his father. Now here's the good stuff. He promised not to give me work during weekends. On top of that, he gave me 2 days off to rest a bit. I can finally watch all the TV shows I've been delaying for so long." Before ending the call, I asked if he's mad at me and he laughed. Said that it was all right, and the fact that I cut the call immediately after screaming made him laugh a lot. He narrated the whole scene to his family in the morning and all of them had a good laugh. "Thank you so much for helping me do this, everyone. I loved the advice, jokes and whatever you guys said in the comments. I'll try to respond to everyone. Elmao. But yeah, definitely turn your phone back on. Call him back at a reasonable hour and apologize. Or just talk to him at work if you're going in today. Definitely not something you want to just try and ignore. If one of my employees called me and said that I would laugh and say something like, 'I know, I get it, depends on the boss.' I would also ask to get renamed at your contacts so I'm not a sleepy finger away from 3 a.m. phone calls. Hey op, I'm not sure how tech savvy your dad is, but there are apps out there where you can put in his medicine and he can confirm daily at the time it's needed to be taken that he has taken it. If he doesn't confirm, it'll send a notification to whoever signs up for notifications. Just a thought to maybe simplify your life. As for the boss, I wouldn't worry too much. You're likely picturing the worst and the worst likely won't occur. And even if it does occur, say you get fired from this job? Who cares? Sounds like you would be dodging a bad employer bullet and plenty of places are hiring right now. Wow. Today you did indeed fuck up. Any updates? It was 3 a.m., it's possible that he wasn't fully awake when answering the call. Maybe he's still not sure if he fully understood what you said. I wouldn't apologize unless he brings it up. And even then, don't over-apologize. I called you instead of my dad? I'm sorry. I woke up in a panic because I fell asleep and missed my evening call to remind him to take his important medicines. Shit happens. If he fires you for something so dumb, you're better off. Gaslight Boss D. Tell him he dreamt it. Call records you say? Say that was you but hung up realizing your mistake. Anyone else confused with the phrase, eat your medicines? Today I fucked up by eating an apple. Last night, I dreamt that I was eating an apple. It was a wonderful dream, I bit into it, it was sweet and crunchy, and I ate the entire thing. Really, the entire apple. I'd forgotten about my dream when I woke up, and was only reminded when I had a flash of it as I walked past the fruit in the supermarket. I stopped dead in my tracks, causing the angry Saturday morning shoppers to barge past me in fury, but I was too entranced by the sight of the beautiful apples on display. Should I? I thought to myself. I have a strict budget. I really need to respect it. Just one apple, 2 went into my basket, coming out at an extortionate €0.89. The day passes by, I do a bit of garden work, melt my brain by mindlessly scrolling instead of getting on with my studies and personal work, chat to a few people, walk the dogs, wash said filthy dogs upon return after they decide that fresh horse poop should become part of their fur. All with the apples on my mind. After the battle of blow-drying the now clean, but very wet dogs who refuse to take turns with the hairdryer, I'm slightly peckish. My dream comes back to haunt me. Should I give in to temptation and eat the apple? Is it really worth it? I cave. Take the apple, wash it, sit on the sofa. And take a bite. A glorious, crunchy, sweet bite. No fruit has ever tasted this good in the history of humanity. I rip into the apple like it's my last meal, savoring it, almost crying with joy. And hope. You see, for 16 years, I have been allergic to apples, as well as other fruit. I miss it so much. The only fruit that don't cause reactions are bananas, citrus fruit, and grapes. I can only eat cooked fruit, which isn't the same at all, and at New Year's I discovered that even peeling the apples for the tart my best friend was making brought my hands out into a rash. Yet this apple, right now, or rather, 2 hours ago, appeared to be the miracle apple. In the 2-3 minutes it took me to devour the entire thing, I felt fine. No itching, no pain, no rash. Luckily I am not deathly allergic, no breathing issues or anything, just physical discomfort. So maybe, my dream was actually a premonition? Maybe, somehow, as quickly as the allergy appeared, it just disappeared? Yeah nah. If I'm posting this on TIFU, you already know that that isn't the case. My entire mouth is now on fire, my throat hurts, my lips are swollen and my gums feel like mini razor blades are gently sliding over them. Was it worth it? Fuck yes. Will I subject myself to the same thing tomorrow with apple number 2? Fuck yes. Too long did not read. Had a dream that I was finally eating an apple after being allergic to them for 16 years. Loved the dream so much I decided to buy and eat said apple. Now sitting looking and feeling like a fool. But a damn happy fool. Wow. Forbidden fruit. Mine used to be incredibly bad with uncooked fruits and vegetables. I missed them so much and one day went to a store and decided to buy 6 cases of blackberries. I ate them all, itching and uncomfortable. My mouth was a tirade of discomfort, fire, and swelling. Even my teeth itched. The next day I decided I wanted more. I did that for 8 days. Each day the symptoms got a little less severe, and now I only get a slight tongue itch. Except for avocados, they mess me up. This was a wild ride, rolling on the floor laughing. I do the same. I can't decide if I'm hungry or horny. I hope your allergies calm down, ease up soon, but also this is hilarious lol. I'm allergic to cats pretty severely and I'm the same way. Every time I see a cat I have to have the internal monologue of, is today the day I risk it? It is almost always the day I risk it. Their little noses are too cute to resist. Just so you know, any allergy can become anaphylactic at any time. Foods you successfully avoid for a long time are more likely to do this than ones you get occasional exposure to. If you're going to do this dumb self-harm thing again, at least take a Benadryl an hour in advance. Pissed. If you can eat the cooked versions of certain fruit, you're probably allergic to the pollen it's pollinated with. At least that's what my allergist told me. I also cannot eat raw apples. Time to find that EpiPen and order crab rangoon. Today I fucked up thinking that there were only 2 languages in the entire world. I was a dumb-ass child. Backstory. I lived in a pretty conservative small town up until 2nd grade, when I moved to big city, P. In small town, my elementary school did mandatory Spanish lessons, starting in kindergarten, so by the time I moved to P, my child-brained ass thought I was pretty fluent. So now I'm in P. I start 2nd grade at my new school, and make friends with this one kid. He lives down the street from me and this was back in 2009, so we would literally just go to each other's houses and ask to play with each other. The first time I did this, I went up to his door and knocked, and his parents answered. Now, my friend had warned me that his parents weren't super fluent in English, and I was like, I know Spanish, I got this. So anyways, they open the door and I start greeting myself in Spanish. They both smile at me and then talk in pretty fluent English, to a 2nd grader, so I talk to them in English after that. It dawned on me a few years later that Spanish and English weren't the only 2 languages that existed, and that his parents were from somewhere in Asia. I introduced myself to my friend's parents in a language that neither of us really understood. Person shrugging. If it makes you feel better, I was born in Mexico and when I was about 6 years old my family and I moved to the USA. My parents showed it to me on a map and being the child genius that I was, I thought it was going to be like the Jetsons. Like I thought that since the US is north, that means the plane flies straight up to space houses and I was so excited. You can guess my utter disappointment when the plane landed and there was just a bunch of land. So naturally, child genius brain activated and I thought, oh, this must just be the ground where planes land. I'm sure we'll take our flying car to the space house where my cousins were letting us stay. My disappointment was immeasurable and my day was ruined. I thought the whole world was in Australia when I was younger. LMAO. When I was 5 I got so surprised that my friend, who was black, was adopted by his pasty white parents that I had to sit down. I live in the Netherlands. When I was a kid we went on a small holiday for the weekend to a different province in the country called Zeeland in English. However, I thought it was so incredibly far away, 2.5-hour drive, we're a small country, that I was absolutely convinced we were in New Zealand. To be fair, everyone was a dumb-ass child. But this is pretty funny. This reminds me of when we had a Japanese culture week at primary school and we learned some Japanese phrases. Not long after, a little boy from Africa joins our class and this lad in my class just walks up to him and confidently welcomes him in Japanese. I always believed that I was the only boy named Elephant 040, but then one day my mom told me that there was another boy same age as me named Elephant 040 in the village also. I can really remember how my world turned upside down that day as I was led to believe that I was the only one in the entire world worthy of said name. We became best friends shortly after that and still are to this day, around 20 years later. I understand the thought process that brought you to that conclusion. I too was an exceptionally dumb child.